Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the OC Varsity Basketball Chat. This week, I'm Dan Albano, joined by our Basketball Hall of Fame writer, Steve Fryer. And welcome everybody back as league play is really starting to dominate the basketball scene right now. And we got some pretty unusual activity, Fryer. Last week, Mater Dei started the week ranked number one in Orange County on the boys' side. They were ranked seventh in the Southern Section Division One, but they lost to Orange Lutheran by 8. They lost to Santa Margarita also by 8 points in a pretty low-scoring game. Now they're tied for fourth in the Trinity League with one game left in the first round of the Trinity League, taking on Servite this week. What does this all mean for Mater Dei and their possible playoff division?
Well, there's a watch list that the basketball coaches advisory committee puts together. A couple pretty smart people are on, a lot of smart people are on that thing that I see around a lot of gyms. So that watch list is like 20 schools or something, and it really doesn't slice down too much in the early parts of the weeks. Do you got to keep Mater Dei in that watch list? I don't know. But I think that there's some obvious teams way ahead of them from what I've seen. But the big thing is Mater Dei's lost 3 league games for the first time since they were in the South Coast League in the 90s. Here's the thing: when I watch Mater Dei play, I don't think they have that one go-to shooter that you run a play for that is going to hit your 15 to 20-foot jumper, right? They don't have that one guy. They got guys who do it here and there. Scotty Belknap gets hot. He can shoot. Luke Barnett, son of the Keith Barnett, the coach at Aliso, he can gun it pretty good too. Owen Verna can shoot, but they don't have that one dude that, like Coach Gary McKnight's son Clay was that guy in the 90s. He was going to hit threes, just like one of the best outside shooters I ever saw. They don't have a Clay McKnight like a guy like that this year, or Taylor King, who could shoot from anywhere in the gosh darn place. Don't have that, and so that hurts them a lot. Luke, Zach Davidson's really good inside player. He's a pretty effective shooter from 15 feet on in, but he's going to get double teamed all the time because the other teams know that they don't have a really good second scoring option, a consistent scoring option.
Well, it looks like to me, unless the Monarchs really have a dramatic change in the second round of league, like I said, they could be finishing the first round in round 4th place. It looks like they could be headed to Division One if teams like Bosco, our new number 1 team in the county, which we'll talk about in a second, and Orange Lutheran perhaps stay ahead of them. So that would be a dangerous team, coming into Division One. But Division One is also a very tough division as well. Speaking of a new number 1. There's a new number 1 ranked team in Orange County. They have a big game for first place on the line this week on Wednesday in the Trinity League. Tell us all about the new number 1 ranked boys basketball team in the county.
That's Santa Margarita, which is 20-3 coming into this week. They got to play at St. John Bosco on Wednesday. They're both 3-0 in that league. 4-0 in that league, and Bosco's really good. They handle Mater Dei pretty good at Mater Dei. Excuse me. Rockwell Reynolds is the big senior guy over there at Santa Margarita, inside player, very quick, long arms, uses the elbows pretty nice too. And then they've got Braden Kyman, Jay Kyman's little brother, shoots it fearlessly, hits some threes in the corner and the win against Mater Dei. And when he shoots, that ball hits nothing but net. I mean, on his free throws and all his 3-point shots, I don't think the basketball touched metal every time it made it's way into the basket. He's pretty good. A guy with a lot of moxie, Tobias Averell, is a pretty good player. They got a guy named Moxie on the team too, who's a guard, and he's really good. And sophomore Dallas Washington impressed the heck out of me. So a lot of good players on this team. Cameron McNamee is a player who can score a lot. He led them in the first quarter. Then Rockwell Reynolds did much of the scoring in the second half. Sam Martin is good. Justin Bell's very good coach. Got a good staff running over there too, and they're really good too. Over in that San Joaquin League, Dan, they're still winning games and beating the heck out of each other. Fairmont Prep, Pacifica Christian, You know, Oakwood Academy's good. That's a good group of teams in that league.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, Fairmont Prep is now number 2 in Orange County. Went 3-0.
Yeah. Yep.
They improved to 3-0 in that league, and yeah, there's some heat coming after them with Pacifica Christian, Orangewood Academy,
Yeah.
as you mentioned. Um, who do you have your eye on this week? Who you looking to check out as basketball heats up here in the league?
My schedule: Orange Lutheran against Jay Sarah at Orange Lutheran on Wednesday, and then Thursday is a really good game too. Pacific Christian at Orangewood Academy. That should be pretty solid.
Okay.
South County basketball is really good. Lisa Miguel beat Dana Hills this past week, so I might go see Lisa Miguel play at Mission Viejo, and then the Surf League and the Wave League's got it going. There's some, Fountain Valley's at Edison. Newport Harbor's at Edison this week. And then the Freeway League, which is such a beautiful league. Troy's at La Habra this week on Friday. I've got that. Yeah. And then Sage Hill's kind of interesting too. Carter Bryant, the son of the new coach, Deshaun Bryant. They were both together at Fountain Valley. They both moved over to Sage Hill. All of a sudden, Sage Hill might be a team to look at in that Pacific Coast League. They play Woodbridge on Tuesday. Woodbridge is undefeated in the league, so that'll be a good one to watch as well.
All right, some good stuff coming up.
Now, Dan, what's going on in girls hoops, man? I know that Sage Hill made Mater Dei work for it. Now, you look at that score, which I think was 62-50, 12-point margin. But Mater Dei hasn't had many close games, but it looks like Sage Hill made them work for it at the Matt Denning Classic over at Mater Dei on Saturday. Am I right?
Yeah, it was much closer game, than the final score indicated, because at one point with about 4 minutes left, Sage Hill was only down by 1 point after a big 3-pointer by Kat Rinheimer. So,
yeah.
And Mater Dei, after that point, they ramped up their full court press, and they hit some free throws. There was a big disparity on the free throw at the free throw line, but the Monarchs ended up hitting 20 of 25, and that and their defense pulled away. But I think my conclusions out of this one is, Mater Dei is still number 1 in Orange County, and they're a work in progress, but they have a lot of talent, and I think they're just going to continue to get better as they're still trying to, come together with their full squad, and along those same lines, they do have an injury to kind of watch out with. Janessa Cotton, their emerging post player, hit her head pretty good after a rebound late in that game. So I wouldn't be surprised to see her miss some games, and that'll be tough because Mater Dei's got a big games this week. But
yeah.
And
I
think
for
Sage,
Wednesday, Dan? Where are they at on Wednesday, Dan? They got to play at a tough place for visiting teams to play, don't they?
Yeah, on Tuesday, actually, they're going to be at
Tuesday.
Rosary, where they did lose a game last year. So that's a big Trinity League game. And Rosary has shown that they know how to play Mater Dei tough, and they can beat the Monarchs. Rosary and Coach Rich Ewan, who does a great job. They're probably the one team consistently in Orange County, somewhat consistently the last couple of years, have been able to knock off Mater Dei. That's the only team in Orange County that's pulled it off a few times lately. So, but I think Sage Hill really showed that they're pretty legit. They weren't full strength against the Mater Dei game on Saturday. They didn't have Annabella Spots, a good post player for them, so they were down a starter. And Amalia Holguin, really good freshman point guard. She game high 22 points, 4 3-pointers. Struggled a little bit with the turnovers, but for a freshman point guard, getting full court press the whole game, hit some very tough shots, very advanced offensive game. I posted one video, Steve, where she did a between the legs step back 3-pointer with a defender on her. That's the kind of stuff. She's got a very high level handle on her as far as the ball handling. She's not going to really lose the ball. She's still working on the passing and the recognition. Though she is, she's definitely talented. She can make some very good passes, but how their Kern Walters trying to bring her along, but she's making a lot of progress. So Sage Hill, going to hear more of them maybe they're an open team with Mater Dei. Coach Kernan said that wouldn't be surprised to see Sage Hill again in the open division. So yeah, that was a good game on Saturday.
Dan, when I saw your tweet on that, I looked at that, and at the same time on my TV, I was watching James Harden do those things for Dallas. The between the legs, pull back, hit the long range. I go, wow, James Harden's on on the girls basketball game and on my screen at the same time. We got another good game coming up. A couple top 10 teams hooking up this week. Esperanza and Brea, right?
Yeah, that's also on Tuesday. Tuesday's a big night, and that's going to be the first round matchup between these teams in the Crestview League. That's going to be Esperanza. They're number 7 in Orange County at number 8 Brea Linda. So that's going to be really good. And it's a tough week for the Aztecs because on Friday they are also at El Dorado, which I think is about number 20 in Orange County. And that's also kind of, El Dorado is a really good team in the Crestview League. So that's a 3-team race between those 3 teams. So that's a big one. And then on Saturday, South Coast League has got a really good game Saturday night. San Juan Hills, high-scoring 3-point team, really on the rise, 5th in Orange County, and they're taking on number 9 San Clemente. And that's going to be those could look like the 2 best teams in the South Coast League. So there's a lot of really good league games this week, sir.
Yeah, El Dorado 16-4, and they're 21 in the county. And we'll see if they can give their longtime rivals out that way in that little corner of Orange County, Esperanza. So lots going on in basketball this week, Dan, for you and I. We're going to be indoors a lot, watching a lot of good ball, yeah?
Yes. Yeah. I'm actually headed out the door pretty soon to going over to Orangewood for the Martin Luther King showcase event over at Orangewood. Cool. So, happy MLK Day to you and everyone out there. And it's a good time of year as we're, grinding through January with all these big league games. A lot of intrigue as, kind of the second half of these league races are starting to heat up now.
Yep. Lots going on. Well, that's what we got going on in girls basketball this week and in boys basketball this week. The rankings are shaking up all over the place, and I think this week's games will have more of that. So we got coverage of all that, and check out our rankings over here and join us at OC Varsity. Thanks, everybody.